Welcome back to the EM Crypto channel. My name is Enrique. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting the stream and our channel. I appreciate you guys so much. And look, guys, there is a lot to talk about. Sorry I haven't been able to produce as much content as I would like. We've been really busy and traveling. We're about to leave town again shortly, so I actually need to keep this video kind of short. But look, guys, today we're going to talk about a couple Arbitrum gems that we've been keeping an eye on. I found this degen play that I'm going to tell you guys about, that I went to their Telegram today because I wanted to see if their community was real or not. I'm going to tell you about a degen play. This is highly risky play. This is not paid content or anything like that. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm doing because you guys have been asking me, well, what are you doing? What have you been doing lately? I've been kind of taking it easy. I haven't been trading as much the last probably week and a half or so, just because I said I was traveling. But I did find a pretty cool degen play that I like. And we're going to talk about a token unlock that I took a short on yesterday, but it's kind of nuancy. But I wanted to cover because I thought it'd be kind of fun thing to cover, and you guys can decide if you want to take that short or when to take another short on it, because I already took one short on it just about 1 or 2 days ago. But let's start with BTC, guys, just because it's the chart that of course rules them all. And on the monthly, nothing's changed, right? I mean, nothing at all has changed. This still seems like it's magnetically getting pulled down to that 13.8 level. Maybe it won't get there, maybe it will. I'm not a fortune teller, but if I had a bet, I would say that yes, it most likely will get to 13.8. And all signs point to it. But however, when will it happen? How long will it take? That's where it gets really dicey, just because the weekly actually doesn't look that bad. The weekly actually looks at like the negative momentum starting to wane. And we are starting to see just a little bit of a higher low with the RSI. So that's not bad. And another thing that I really thought was interesting was with on the weekly, just how it did paint a very nice candle right here last week. So if you look at that candle right there, it's a pretty nice little candle. So not a bad looking candle on the weekly. If we look at the daily, it's the negative momentum is again weighing. We're definitely painting higher lows with the RSI. I mean, showing some definitely bullish stuff there. So that's looking okay, not looking the worst. Now in the 4-hour, BTC is looking a little weaker though. It is starting to show, well, this last 4 hours starting to show that maybe positive momentum will start to build again. But again, it's not looking bullish either though. So, but we'll see what happens, because I was expecting BTC to be a little bullish at the start of the week. It hasn't. And that's what made things complicated with the next thing I wanted to cover, and that's 1 inch. As you can see right here, 1 inch is going to release 14.8% of its total supply, which it's actually like 35% of its circulating supply. So they are about to just inundate the market with some of their scrubby little S-Coin 1 inch tokens, and it presents a nice short opportunity. It's going to happen in 18 days. So I took a short on it. I was up on it a little bit. I actually did a pretty decent leverage just because I had high conviction on this play. And I did it on Bitget. I do all my leverage plays on Bitget. Whenever I short crypto, I do it on Bitget. And I don't usually use high leverage. I use higher leverage on this one just because I really like the spot. I closed it at a nice little win already, and I'll show you guys why, but I'm thinking that I might have the opportunity to get back into it because it is 18 days, and this is about the time. We've noticed this with the Axie big token unlock, and with other ones. We've noticed Immutable X, that you want to do it about 3 to 4 weeks before the token unlocks. So this is actually prime time to do it, but if BTC rises, then this will just rise up with it for the most part. Now, it won't for sure do it, and I can show you a chart that kind of shows that this asset is just so weak. So obviously, it's really weak right now, other than that huge candle that it's painted right now. So if it keeps running like that, it could present a nice opportunity to get back in as a short, actually. I'll keep an eye on that. But if we look at 1 inch versus, let's say, Bitcoin, you guys will see something very interesting. Look at this. Look how poorly it's performing against Bitcoin. That is just all sorts of, oh, and look at this weird candle right here. Yeah, people got liquidated there. Shorts got liquidated there. So that's why you don't want to trade with too much leverage. So even though I do advocate for leverage trading because it helps become more profitable, you got to be very careful because these scam wicks will get you. They will get you. But anyways, look at this. Look how it's performing against BTC. So basically what this states is that when BTC goes up, it goes up with it, but maybe not as high. When BTC drops, it really drops. So, so again, if I think that BTC is headed to maybe say 17.5, which is what I think is happening, especially because BTC is looking a lot stronger on the daily, negative momentum starting to wane, then that tells me that maybe wait for BTC to rise to 17.5 or 18K, because 18K would make a lot of sense too from the fact that it's such a round number, psychological, but first it has to get through that 17.6K. But if it does, then 18K would make a lot of sense. And then that may be a much better time to short 1 inch, because if BTC is going up, then this asset will go up. And if you're short, even though it makes sense because of the token unlock, you will lose value. So just something to keep an eye on that I wanted to bring up. But look at that candle. This might not be a bad candle to short if it keeps going up. But again, BTC hasn't really done much right now. It's painting a nice little candle. Let's go look at it on the 4-hour. Yeah, so pretty nice candle for BTC there. And it looks like it's just getting started. So interesting. Interesting how all this happens most days right after the stock market closes. For the most part, that's when crypto has been running lately, is after the stock market closes. So that's one thing that I wanted to cover. So very interesting stuff. So the other thing is that there is a few other tokens that I wanted to cover. So before we finish off with the kind of really high kind of risk but high reward degen play that I wanted to bring up with, that I'm actually pretty excited about, I did want to talk about some of the Arbitrum gems that we've been covering. Buffer is still looking all sorts of solid, despite the fact that the market's been doing what it's been doing. This asset has been doing pretty well. I noticed that its holders are growing. Its community seems pretty solid. They're doing a lot on the socials, and they are go check them out. Very, very cool. It's like a fork of GMX, and you can trade binary options. You can trade on whether or not certain assets are going to go up in very short time frames. So it's a lot of fun too. And a portion of what the platform makes goes to the holders and to the stakers. So this is one asset that I hold that I've been watching very, very closely. I think another one that we've been watching is XCal, just because it seems to have a lot of people seem to like it. Seems to be gaining a lot of love on Twitter. But I'm just waiting to see where it's going to bottom. It looks like it broke out of this descending downtrend. And maybe it's forming a bottom now. I don't know. It looks like it's kind of toppy here. This looks like an indecision candle. So it wouldn't surprise me if it starts dropping again, maybe test the lows of 17 cents again. So I've been watching that one closely. And yeah, I mean, there's which other one? GMD is one that we've been talking about that I sold. And I'm waiting for it to drop some more. So its market cap's at 5.8 mil. But again, Arbitrum is just hot. The transactions keep growing, the usage, the TVL for this ecosystem. Arbitrum is it just has so much potential. But I'm waiting for GMD to dip down again. And if it does, here, let's go to the 4-hour. I think if it dips down again, kind of like to these levels over here, I'm going to be very, very choosy just because there's so many good options. But if it dips down to like the 40 range again, I will be picking up GMD again. But the one I wanted to talk about is Smaug. SMAUG, guys. SMAUG. And this asset is highly risky. This is a fun degen play for me, but I think it has a ton of potential. Its market cap is only 486K. Liquidity, super crazy low, 47K. And look, guys, this team didn't, pay me or anything to talk about them. I'm just letting you guys know this is probably my riskiest play right now. I mean, I'm not in a lot of stuff right now, and I am in this one. I got in a few days ago, and I'm just going to write this out. If it goes to zero, it goes to zero. But I think this has the ability to do a lot more. Say its market cap gets close to what a similar asset recently did called Tyrant, that I definitely wouldn't buy into it right now, because as you can see, it's giving it all away right now. I would not touch this asset right now. Look at that after it peaked out. But in just 2 weeks' time, it did like a 200x, which is insane. But the most important thing about it is that at its peak here, it was at like 11 million market cap, 11 million market cap. So if, this asset right here that seems to have a lot of similarity, and some of the people that were talking about Tyrant are now talking about Smaug, that's like another 20x from here, right? 11 million market cap from 500K. That is like a 22x actually. So I think it has that potential. And if it goes to zero, though, it goes to zero. If it rugs, it rugs, but I don't see that happening. And I'm going to see if we can get some X's out of this one. So I'm going to stay in this one. I am very interested to see how high this thing could go. And it seems to be getting a lot of love. Its holders are growing. And I went to their Telegram today to just check out if it was real or if it was bots. And this community is very real, and they seem to be very, very active. So I thought that was kind of a cool one to bring up. And other than that, I don't really have that much going to talk about. I mean, the VIX is starting to do what I said it was going to do. If those of you that follow me on Discord, your bank set up a TA section for me. I said it last week. I'm like, if you can, go get you some VIX because it's about to pump most likely, and it sure is doing that. So when the VIX pumps and the dollar pumps, that's usually really, really bad for risk assets, and that's what's happening right now. So that's not good for the S&P. The S&P had a brutal, awful day, as you can see right here on the daily. It just rejected off that trend line from like way early in the year in January, and it bounced off it pretty hard, and now it's heading down. Maybe you'll get down here and kind of test this line, this fib level. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. The fib level is kind of old, but at the very least, I do think it's going to probably drop a little bit more as long as the VIX and the dollar are pumping. Really impressive though that Bitcoin was able to have, again, we'll go to the daily. This is the new day now. No, it's still the same day. We're 20 minutes away from the new day. Pretty impressive that Bitcoin is painting a green candle when the VIX and the dollar did that. I mean, Bitcoin's just showing a lot of strength in that from that perspective. So that's what makes it really tough right now, because it's really hard to gauge where Bitcoin's going. And that's why I'm doing some fun, kind of crazy plays. Look, Arbitrum is just hot right now. And if Bitcoin does anything, these assets in Arbitrum, like Buffer, are going to pump. And when that airdrop finally happens, that's really going to help some of these assets really pump. So I'm pretty excited about what's going to happen with the Arbitrum, short-term, mid-term, long-term. I think it's just a good play. It's so fast and it's so inexpensive. It's just a beautiful thing. I'm a big fan of that ecosystem. And we'll see what happens with Smaug. So if you guys feel like gambling, go check it out. Again, the liquidity is super low, so it's very, very risky, but it's it's kind of fun to have fun with super degen plays, honestly. And yeah, we'll see what happens with 1 inch. I'm looking for a spot to get back into my 1 inch short that I closed earlier. And it's never a bad thing to take a win, but if we can go in and take another win, that'd be great. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to cover. I mean, not really. I mean, I don't know if I've talked about this chart before, but it just kind of gives you an idea of where things are going. And guys, I'm telling you, the recession is going to get really bad early next year. I really think that, and that's why I'm so confident that Bitcoin will end up going to like 13.8, maybe lower. And as you can see here, the green line is the personal savings rate. It's never been lower. And then the credit card debt has never been higher. So just an awful thing to see, awful thing to see. And yeah, I mean, I think all eyes next week will be on the Fed, obviously, right? So Jerome Powell speaks on the 14th. We'll have the CPI data coming out the 13th. And it looks like it's 78% chance that he'll only raise it by 50 basis points versus 21.8% chance that he'll raise it by 25 basis points. So we'll see what happens then. But if he comes out and it's 50 basis points, I think that will be very good for the markets. Even though it's already kind of expected priced in, I think it'll be very good for the markets. If he throws a bit of a curveball and raises it up 75 basis points, it could be really ugly. So be careful with that. So make sure that I would not have any trades open until you hear 50 or 75 come out of his mouth. But if you hear 75 versus 50, short at will, and do it quickly so you can beat the bots. And that's about it, I think, guys. I don't think that there's anything else to cover. Yeah, I guess there's one more thing that I wanted to cover. So this right here is the upcoming events and watch list. And the big one for me Another big one for me that's still coming, that just happened, was Link. As you can see here, the big staking was on December 6th. And if we played the old game of buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news, well, look what happened. It's actually pumping pretty good now, but it really took a big monster dump after it kind of went up as high as like $7.80 as people were getting closer to that date of the staking. And now it's probably going to keep dropping. And look, I know Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes up to 17.5, maybe 18K, then of course it will follow. But after that, I would expect Link to drop quite a bit if BTC stops its little bear run then. So Link could be another very nice one to short, because my guess is that it's probably going to test this $5.54 at some point. When, I don't know, but it'll probably do it at some point, if not later this month, next month. So that would be a nice spot to take another leverage short. Just don't put too much leverage because we don't know how high it can go. But that would be another nice leverage short. And other than that, I don't have anything else to cover. Again, sorry I haven't been doing more content, just been traveling a lot. And like I said, I'm about to travel again. But I will see you guys next week. Be safe, trade well, and don't trade just to trade, guys. Just if there's a good reason to trade, do it. If not, just wait for good spots. All right, guys, take care.